Hello and happy Sunday once again. This is Skavater with week 13 of Midori Minitours. After doing retro anime last week, I decided to go ahead and do another older anime that was a little too new to make it onto that list. If you can't tell by the BGM, it's Sailor Moon. And I started off, of course, with Sailor Moon herself and the Princess Serenity identity. It's a really interesting contrast between how Usagi is and how Serenity is portrayed and talked about. I like to think that Serenity was a lot more like Usagi than anyone lets on, but that's me. You can interpret her character in any way you like, and there is certainly a contrast in how Serenity behaves when the situation is dire enough for her to come out. Next up is Sailor Mercury, one of my absolute favorites. And she has the best looking attacks in the show, in my opinion. In this case, Shine Aqua Illusion. Just always really nice, sparkling effects, very pretty attacks. And it really suits her, kind of an air of elegance and more restraint than most of the other girls. But of course, I can't choose between my two favorite inner Senshi, and the second one here is Makoto, Sailor Jupiter. I went with the rose petals because I really like her secondary plant theming. It's an interesting mix with her lightning theming and also fits well into the Greek mythology aspect, with oak trees being the symbol of Jupiter. But she's another fun one. There's a lot of extra bits to her character, being both the toughest and strongest of the inner Senshi, and also probably the girliest, despite fandom's insistence on calling her a tomboy. I mean, she loves romance novels and baking, and she has flower themes. I don't know where they get this tomboy idea, but there are tomboy Sailor Senshi. She's not one of them, but still one of my favorite characters. But there is no contest to my favorite outer Senshi, and that is, of course, Hotaru, Sailor Saturn. Really one of the most compelling stories of any of the girls, especially in the 90s anime where they have the time and the room to really stretch out. And then after her revival, she's just really fun and compelling as she gets to grow up as a normal girl. And that's a lot of fun too. Next up, two of my favorite villains. Like most of the characters, they are more interesting in the 90s anime simply by virtue of the 90s anime having the time and the desire to stretch out and examine them, since we're dealing with 40 to 50 episodes instead of a handful of pages for weekly chapters. But of course, Sailor Iron Mouse of the Sailor Animamates and Fisheye from the Dead Moon Circus. The pacing issues of the manga aside, I'm really looking forward to seeing Sailor Iron Mouse again this summer when Cosmos comes out. And for the final day, having gone with Usagi and the past for the first day, we go to the future for the last day with Chibiusa, Sailor Chibi Moon, and Diana. And while you can't see the skirt by the accessories, you can probably tell this is Super Sailor Chibi Moon specifically. Because even though Diana first appeared in R in the manga, she didn't show up until Super S in the anime. But they're a really cute, fun pair. They get a lot of undeserved flack for being, little girls, especially Chibiusa. But I like them a lot, and I thought they'd be a good note to end on. And of course, the background music this week is the prologue from the Sailor Moon R movie. It's a cute little sequence where Usagi introduces herself and the rest of the inner Senshi. And next week's theme, as it's getting warmer around here, everything is really coming back to life. Next week's theme is going to be spring, and I will see you next Sunday. Have a good week.